morning. Happy Wednesday. I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to spend with me today. I am Chali with Creations by Chali, and this is my Whatever Wednesday. I go live once a week on Wednesday mornings at 11 o'clock. The purpose of these lives and my goal is to show you some inexpensive and easy ways to make gifts for family and friends or decor for your home. We've done a lot of different things. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week, but this week we're going to be talking about some napkins, and I'm going to show you how to decoupage with them. Now, again, I would appreciate if you would like and follow my page, and if you would, share this video with your friends. It does two different things. It helps me build my business, and it also makes it easier for you to go back and find a video that you're particularly interested in rather than scrolling through all my videos. You also can find me on YouTube if you just search for Creations by Chali, and every video I think we've done except one we've put up on YouTube. Okay, now, like any other craft, decoupaging is kind of a personal thing. I'm going to show you the way I like to do it. There are a lot of different ways. People do it different ways. You may want to experiment with those different ways and just come up with what you like. What I'm going to show you is what works best for me, and I'll try to give you a few little tips that no matter how you actually put the napkin on your project, these are good tips for all of it. But we're going to start out today. Good morning, Peggy. Hope you're doing well. You're going to start out, these are just dollar little box frames from Dollar Tree. I pick them up. Every time I go in there, I'll get a handful because it doesn't really matter. I mean, this is okay by itself, but it doesn't really matter what this says because you can take all this off, sand it, paint it, and that's what this is. So this is one of the napkins that I have in the bundle. But anyway, a couple of tips. What you want, of course, you want to pull the bow off. Then if it's got glitter on it, you want to just take some sandpaper and sand off that glitter because you want your surface to be smooth. The picture itself doesn't matter. If it's something bright, like this is black and you want to paint it white, which is exactly what I did with these. And it's the exact same one. It looked like this. I sanded the glitter, painted it white. Now it took a couple of coats. So depending on what your sign looks like and what you want the outcome to be. Another little tip, anytime you are decoupaging with napkins, they're so thin that you really want your background to be a bright color. Unless you want the vintage rustic look, this particular shelf setter is on white. Well, you may have to come down a little bit. I don't hold it up too much. But this is on white, okay? And you can kind of see it's pretty bright. It will bring out the colors in your napkin. If you want it vintage, here's one done with a dark stain. And you see the difference? It's the same napkin, but you've got dark vintage and white. These two I made, and see even the back, you've got the darker look. So I usually like to paint white. It does not matter what kind of paint you use. You can use acrylic paint, you can use chalk paint, but you just want to give it several coats. Normally I do it the day before because I have plenty of time. And then once you've sanded the glitter and painted all this white, you'll have what looks like this, okay? And we're going to use these. I did this in a set. This is one napkin. One corner has these gnomes, another corner has these gnomes. So I just kind of did them as a set, and I'm going to sell them on my Etsy store as a set. I left the little hooks, the little saw hangers on the back, so if somebody wanted to hang them on their wall, they could, or they're basically shelf setters. You use them in 3-tier trays. You can use them on a counter, a windowsill, anywhere like that. So I'm gonna put these over here. I did these last week. So we're gonna work on 2 this week that are snowmen. Here's one of them. And you know, with your napkins, you've got 4 different things. So you can pretty much use, at least, you might, depending on the size, these are gonna be perfect that I can just cut along the line. But depending on the size that you use. I did this one for my coffee bar, and it is out of like a little napkin like this, a cocktail napkin. So I just went a little further on the napkin rather than right inside the square. So, but this is a good size. The luncheon napkins are a great size for these boards from Dollar Tree. So the first thing, I did not put Mod Podge on them, and it has to dry before we can go to our next step. So let me go ahead right quick. I get the matte Mod Podge. You can buy it anywhere. And we're also going to use a little one today. I'm going to show you how to make coasters. This is just a tile, kitchen or bathroom tile from Lowe's. It cost me 15 cents. I've made several sets of coasters that I'm going to sell, and I only had this one left. I was going to go this week and get some more, but the weather was just too bad to get out. So again, if you're the first time, when you hop on today, let us know you're here and where you're from. And if this is your first time watching, you don't want tons of Mod Podge. I usually kind of turn it to the light so I can see, make sure I'm getting the edges. And I'm just using a cheap little old brush. You can get them at the Dollar Tree for like 4 in a package for $1. You want to make sure you get the corners and the edges. It does not take a whole lot of Mod Podge with a napkin, because by the time you take the bottom layers off that napkin, let's put that there to dry, and let's do this one. Now you also want to make sure, if you're going to leave the little hanger on the back, that when you go to put your napkin on, that you've got it turned the right way, that the hanger's at the top. Okay. I could have done this ahead of time. Normally I let my Mod Podge dry a couple of hours before I put the napkin on, but we're going to try to see if it'll dry fast enough. And same thing with the little tile. You don't have to paint it, it's already white. So just put the Mod Podge on there. Some people, when they're putting their napkins down, they put on little like plastic gloves, clear gloves, where they could touch the surface. Mod Podge sells a spreader that looks like this. I use it on my bigger projects and paper. You don't want to use anything like this on a napkin because you'll rip your napkins. Your napkins are very thin when you get those layers off. You could put on the gloves and tap it on there. Some people use just a cheap like chip brush, a dry brush, and they'll just pat the napkin on there. But if y'all watched my last video, I like to use an iron. And to use an iron, your Mod Podge has to be dry. And depending on, let's see, that was the first one, the second one. Depending on how fast this dries, I may have to send to Ed for my hair dryer, and you know, so that we can finish. All right, let's talk about your napkins. All right, this is one I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do snowmen on these 2 and sell them as a set. So like I said, you have 4.
Joanne, I'll look to now.
Hi, Joanne. Okay, so now the way I have found works best for me, and watch it today, we're live and it won't do, but your hardest part is getting the back off your napkins. This one, I went and looked, this is a 3-ply napkin, and most of your better napkins are 3-ply. If you don't take these 2 white backings off, you're only gluing the bottom layer, and your top of your napkin is just gonna peel off. So the way I have found is I go to a corner and just kind of wet my fingers and see if I can't pull them apart. Usually the first layer comes real easy. Okay, and then you just easily tear that off, throw it away. Now it's the second layer, because see, that looks pretty thin, but we have one more layer we need to do. So the second layer sometimes is the one that gives me trouble. Sometimes you have to mess up one of your corners there. It's just really, really thin. Once you get it going, you just gently pull it off. Now this one appears not going all the way to the edge right there. There, we got it. You want to go get my hairdryer in? I'm afraid I'm going to need it. I have a heat gun, but it may get too hot. All right, so just gently tear off that other layer, and that leaves you with just the very top layer of the napkin. Can you see that? Can you see how thin that is? Very delicate. So while I'm waiting for that to, the iron's hot over here, so be careful. I'm gonna go ahead, actually I'm gonna use one of these dry ones to, I think it's just that I can cut on the exact edges. Yeah. I believe these are probably 5 by 5, these wood things. Don't burn yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut. And I'm only gonna use one of this particular pattern. So you could make, out of one napkin, you can make 4 different gifts. Just out of $1 frame from the Dollar Tree. Okay. Now I went ahead earlier, because I was afraid it would take me a while to separate the napkins. I went ahead earlier and took the layers off of the other one that I'm going to use. So I'm gonna do this one on one, and then I'm gonna use this cute snowman on the other. And like I said, these are luncheon napkins. So they're about probably 5.5 or 6 by 6. And then for our coaster, we are going to use the little cocktail napkins. You just have to be careful. See, I mean, you can do 3 more projects with this one napkin. So these are very inexpensive, and I'm gonna have to turn on my hair dryer, sorry y'all, and dry that a little bit because you want it to be dry. Maybe I better not turn it on high. I'm losing things here. But you want your Mod Podge to be dry. And I need it up right. That one's fine. I think my penguin flew away, Ed. You see it? But it's still a little bit sticky. Okay, I think that'll be good. And then we'll let this one, see if it's gonna dry on its own here in a minute. Okay, all right, first thing I'm gonna do is make sure my hook is at the top. And then I'm gonna take my napkin and you just place it on there where you want it. You wanna try to make sure you get it straight, because once you get it on there, it's not coming up. If y'all have any questions, just type it in, and if Ed catches them, I'll answer them. If not, I always go back and look at the replay afterwards. Okay, so when I've got it on there straight, pretty sure it's straight and it's where I want it, I'm gonna take a piece of parchment paper and just lay over the top of it, trying not to move it. Then I'm gonna take my iron, and it's kind of on a low, medium setting, and then I'm just gonna run my iron over it. That reactivates that Mod Podge. You're not pushing, you're not stretching, you're not doing anything to your napkin to hurt it. Now, if you leave it on too long, or you have the iron too hot, it might kind of turn your napkin a little brown, but it only takes maybe 2 minutes. You want to make sure you get all the edges. To me, I have just found doing it with this, very seldom do you have any wrinkles, especially, or bubbles, especially with a napkin. Sometimes paper, if you've put too much Mod Podge, but very seldom ever do you have any problems when it's a napkin. All right, let's see. And I just want to check my edges. Okay, that's good. So I'm gonna set this one aside, let it cool, and I'm gonna do the next one. Just make sure it's straight. This one has a real pretty red bird on it. You could use these bigger ones to do the tiles also. You would just pick out a certain section of it. Okay, I believe that's straight. Lay my paper over it. Try not to move it. Y'all see I have on my shirt that we did 2 weeks ago, I think it was. There again, it's with a Magnolia Design stencil. I am a creator with them. If you're interested in finding out more about them, just type interested in the comments and I'll send you the link. But there again, this is one of those $2.99 shirts from Hobby Lobby. And the stencil can be used up to 25 times. Would make great Christmas gifts. Make sure I didn't move that. Okay, let's check that one. If your corners are trying to come up, or if you feel like it's coming up anywhere, then you just put the iron back over it. But that one's good too. Okay, let's check. It's still just a little bit. I'm trying to get it over here where I don't blow everything away. I love doing these little coasters. And like I said, you don't have a whole lot of money in them when you get done. All right, this one we're going to do a little penguin. And I've already taken the layers off of him. So let me cut him so I can get 4 out of 1 napkin. I can make 4 coasters. We're gonna take this off anyway, so it doesn't matter if you're real straight. Okay. Try to get him in the center. You can't go too far over because then you run out of room here. Get his little hat. Okay, that's good. I usually hold one side to make sure the napkin doesn't move. And then just slowly iron over the whole thing. Now, if you use the chip brush or gloves, you put your napkin on while your Mod Podge is wet. But if you go to chip too much, then you're gonna rip your napkin, which is why I like this technique a whole lot better. And to me, it just turns out to be a really smooth catch to it, really smooth surface. You can see I've got more over here because I wanted to center him a little bit more. He's in like the corner of that napkin. All right, that one needs a little on the edge. I didn't do the edge quite as well. That one too.
Carol Thornton wanted to know what she got in late, wanted to know what you're putting it on top.
This is just a tile from Home Depot, a kitchen tile, bath tile, 15 cents is all it is. And I'll tell you what I put on the back of them in a minute, but that's all that is. These are actually little signs from Dollar Tree. Doesn't matter what the sign says, you take it off and you paint over it. Let's see if I can pick it up. That's what these others were, was this little Halloween sign. All right, let's get these two corners. You can use, especially these little ones like this. I've done quite a few of them also. They're little canvas panels from Hobby Lobby. I think they're 4x4, and they make cute little decorative things for the 3-tiered tray. Turn my iron up just a tad. And, or just put on a little easel. I think they make 5x5 or 6x6 canvases also. And depending on how many gifts you want to do or how many napkins you want to use, like I said, I did that one for my coffee bar. This one, I did a double-sided out of just one of these little cocktail napkins. I think I have it in there, but I may not. So, just depends. All right, I think that's good. Okay, we're gonna let that cool. And then we're gonna go back. This was our first one. I could have taken that off, I guess, but that's just junk. Okay, now what you're going to do to get the edges off, I take sandpaper, 100, is it called grit? And then you don't want to go this way, you want to go up and down on the corner of your... Well, yeah, this sandpaper Ed put on the board to make it easier on my hands. But see, it just makes a really, it's a little Mod Podge, a really even.
Carol wanted to know, you get special napkins or just from the store?
I order them from several different places. In fact, I was going to tell you in a little bit, I have put together a napkin bundle in my Etsy shop that I'm selling you 15 different napkins for $20 with free shipping, and you can play with them, and you get these napkins I'm using today, and I'll show you the rest of it. But I order them from different places. You can find, every now and then you can find real cute ones at Hobby Lobby. You see how easy that's coming off there, and this is 100 grit. Now, if you want to go back and distress the edges, you put a little antiquing glaze on it. Okay. There's that one. See how quick and easy that was? Since it's snowmen and stuff, I probably will not put anything else on the edges. There's a little spot here that I might have gotten a little paint. But see, it's not too bad. I might touch this up with a little bit, just take my finger and put a little white paint right there that I use. You can use any kind of paint. Now, it's always good, and I had already sanded these. Your paint sometimes makes the surface just a little bit rough, and I usually just run sandpaper over the surface just for a second before I put the napkins on it. Okay, let's do this one. don't have to put much pressure. You just don't want to rub this away, and you don't want to rub across because you'll rip your napkin. You want to start at the corner and come down. It gets kind of messy. I usually try to do it over the trash can. I don't know if y'all can see how smooth it makes the edges. Okay, that gets these two. My mess here. Now, if you're making these for yourself, of course, they're going to be in the house, so you wouldn't have to put anything over them. A lot of people put a layer of Mod Podge back on the top. Personally, I don't like that look because I always get it a little streaked, and I don't like the way it looks. Anything that I sell, I spray with like a Rust-Oleum clear, non-yellowing gloss spray. Okay, so there's those shelf sitters. I think this would be really cute. All right, let's do our penguin. You do him the same way. It's gonna sound different because he's on tile. I don't have much on this side because I went really close to the edge. Now with the tile, if you're making coasters, you definitely want to treat it. I spray it first, let it dry, and then I put 2 coats of a polyethylene or polyacrylic, something like that, with a brush. I put 2 coats on there. That's because you're going to be putting, wet glasses on here. So I give it 2 coats, and it makes it really shiny. All right, there's the, oops. All right, I need to fix him right there. I pulled him loose. There's always a way to fix things. See, I'm just going to tap that. I could get the iron back out, but it will be fine if I just tap it and let it dry. Now for the back of your coasters, there's several things you can do. I bought these from the Dollar Tree, and they're just the adhesive circles that you can put 1 in each corner. I would not rely on just their adhesive. I would put a little E6000 on there also, and then let them dry totally. Or I made some a couple of weeks ago that I found this placemat in Dollar Tree for $1, and it's kind of a rubbery substance. You just want something to protect furniture. So I just measured and cut out squares and glued it to the back. You can buy cork and do the same thing with it. Just cut it out and glue it to the back. You just want to, if you're going to give these as a gift, you don't want anything rough back here. So you just put the dots to set it up a little bit. And like I said, it would need to be protected and put the poly stuff on. So there's a lot you can do with napkins. You can take glasses and decoupage on the napkins. Like I said, I am offering on my website, if you want to play around with napkins, I'm offering a bundle. And let me show you what napkins you'll get. You'll get this little guy. You'll get this napkin that I used. You'll get this napkin. You will get, let's show you the big ones first. I think you get 5 or 6. You'll get this one with Santa. There's the snowman that we used. You get this, the gnomes. Now this was the one I was going to show you. See, it's like two different pictures. So you wouldn't get 4 things. Well, you would get 4 things, but 2 of them would be one thing and 2 another. So you have 2 here with the apples and 2 here with a basket. looks like acorns in it. So you'll get that one. I tried to give you a good variety. You'll get this one with the 3 snowmen. Then you will get this big one with a pumpkin that you can use for your fall stuff. All right, that's the big ones. Then the smaller ones, which you can like paint this a different color and put a smaller one on here and frame it, or you can use these for the tiles, the canvases, or you can just get you some cut wood that's like 4 by 4. That's what this is. It's just a piece of cut wood. So you get the 3 gnomes with it, with the holly. This one's really pretty if you like the rustic country look. Then, let's see, I'm going to show you all the Christmas ones first. That may be all the Christmas ones first. You'll get the penguin. Then Thanksgiving, you'll get this one that says Happy Thanksgiving. This one looks real pretty with it if you want to make it double-sided or just something colorful. Then you get this pretty chicken. I've done a lot with this. Rooster, I guess it is. And then this one. Sunflowers. They make really pretty coasters. And then just the leaves. I've made coasters with this one too. Could be used year-round. So anyway, that's a bundle of 15 and it's $20. You just go to my Etsy store. I'll put the link at the top when we're done. I didn't put it earlier. Or you can go to the top of my page where it says Shop Now. There's a little blue bar. Shop Now. It takes you straight to my Etsy store. And I think the napkins are in the section that says Kits. I'm not sure. But if you got to my page, you know my page is Creations by Julie. There again, I would appreciate it if you would share this video. And that would help me a lot. And I had told Ed this would be a short one today. If you have any questions, just type them in. If you're watching the replay, you still can share it. I appreciate that. I'm actually going to be doing a contest in a couple of weeks. And I can't say the word share if I'm asking you to share the video to receive a prize. So in a couple of weeks, we'll be using other words instead of share. But I'm waiting for my stencils and stuff to come in. So anyway, that's it for today. I hope y'all have a great week. There again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next Wednesday. Not sure yet what we're going to do, but I can tell you from here on out, it will be Christmas crafts because I've already packed up all my Halloween and my fall stuff. As a creator, and when you have a store, you have to stay like 3 months ahead of the holiday. So that's why you see Hobby Lobby put their Christmas stuff out in July and August, because those of us that buy things to make things to sell have to have our items in the store. So I'm already finished with fall, and next week I'll start putting in my Christmas stuff in the Etsy shop. So, but you'll find the napkins there. These little shelf setters will be in the shop sometime next week. But if you have any questions, I'll go back and read all the comments after the live. So thanks again and have a great week. Bye.